Hi, this is Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy. It's December 5th already. Wow, the first Monday of December, almost the end of 2011. Anyway, just a couple of quick things before I want to share with you um, some wonderful feelings that I have about my name Joy and how I came to get the name and what I've discovered it means for me and can mean for you too. And it just felt like this was the time to share it. It's the season. I was at a conference this weekend, and it was one of the buzz lines in the conference. And so it was just time for me to share a little joy, a little of my joy with all of you. So the first part of the little joy I want to share is that this is my favorite time of year, mainly because of the Heartlights session special with Ezekiel and I. Sessions are only $65 right now through the first of the year, and you can buy as many as 3. And I love it because I connect with so many of you I don't know. You take advantage of it, and we get to have a great session and connect. And also, it's a nudge to those who might need a tune-up or who I've shared with and haven't in a while. It might be a good time. So it's a lot of energy and a lot of great enthusiasm behind the offer. So hopefully you might be guided to take advantage of it. And the other thing really quickly is the New Zealand tour is heating up. We're having more sign-ups. If you've ever thought about it, there's another $200 discount. So it's if you send a deposit before December 10th, instead of $3,500, it's $3,100. So that's quite a savings. So if you're thinking about it, give me a buzz. Let's talk, shall we? So anyway, the joy was the buzzword, the top buzzword on this whole conference it's called Freedom Fest that I went to in Milwaukee this weekend. And what they said was, joy comes from within, and it's a choice you make every day. And joy is the root of enthusiasm. I've heard many definitions because, of course, I'm Nancy Joy, right? But I love this one. And it hit me that it has an energy. Well, all words have an energy, but there's such an impact behind the energy of joy. I kind of consider it maybe anger's opposite. They're both valid emotions. But the fun thing about joy is it does create enthusiasm. And I loved it when I read that because every time I say it, it lights me up. Every time I hear it come back to me, it lights me up. So let me just give you a quick story. Way back in the early 90s, I was well on my spiritual path, had a huge life transition, left a very long-term marriage, and was becoming me in a way I always knew I could be and was. And I just felt like I no longer wanted to maintain the name that I had for so many years of my life, which was my married name. And I did not choose or want to or feel right to go back to my childhood name, my childhood surname. And so I just stayed open, and I thought, this may be a time for a transition. And I didn't want to be too hokey, Sometimes in the spiritual realms, your new names, whatever, they define you. And I just wanted it to be something that really felt like a root for me. And so one morning I was sitting at my office, and 4 hummingbirds came. And, if you watch hummingbirds, the zoop, zoop, zoop that they do. And these, though, were zooping, but swishing and swirling. But they were also right in front of the window, almost touching it and flapping their wings. All 4 of them maybe making a pattern. And I thought, well, this I have never seen. This was unusual. Later on, I was out on my deck, I think watering plants, as I recall. This is probably 93. And they started swooping me, my head. And it didn't matter where I moved. They kept swooping so close that I could feel the wind from their little wings. And, of course, you can hear that buzz. And then later in the day, I was in the kitchen. It was summertime, of course, doing the dishes. And they came to the front kitchen window right by my sink and started that same pattern that they were doing in my office. And I thought, okay, this is such a message. And I looked it up in the Jamie Sands animal cards, medicine cards, and hummingbird is the bringer of joy. And I just thought, wow, you know, I like that. I really like that. So I legally went and changed my name to NancyJoy. My last name became Joy. Caused quite a stir in my birth family, you might imagine. My one son really didn't like it. My older son, my younger son, thought it was pretty funny, and he started answering the telephone, "House of Joy, how may I help you?" which I thought was pretty hysterical. Sounded a little like a brothel, right? But right away, I could feel the energy change in me. I could feel that feeling of joy. And every time I said my name, you know, when your brain hears your voice, it pays much more attention than any other sound coming at you. Your own sound creates a pathway that's quite direct. And so every time I would say, "Hello, this is NancyJoy," or "Hi, I'm NancyJoy," I was reinforcing it, right? We know this now. We know so much more because of the law of attraction and creation, the universal laws. Eventually, as time went on, I did remarry and changed my first name to NancyJoy. And that was even better because I heard it more often. But when I was at this conference and I read that, I mean, it was a choice I make, and I do make it every day because I created it as my name. I know everybody's not going to do that, nor should they. But it is something to remember that when you say the word joy, when you can get in touch with that, what that brings up for you, it is a feeling of enthusiasm. And the energy of enthusiasm is the energy of creation. When you're really hyped up to do something, create something, you are very enthusiastic, and it usually helps it to happen. So we can't feel joy all the time, but it is good for everyone to understand, especially this time of year with peace and joy to the world and joy on earth, etc., that it is a vibration that you can choose to emanate. Now, if you're in a place where you're really having a hard time, you can't just say, "I want to be joyful," and be joyful. You have to honor where you're at, but you can consciously choose to move toward joy. Can you not? So, great thoughts for this Monday morning, for this holiday season, and I felt so happy right now. I wanted to share the joy. So take a look at where it is in your life, how you activate it, when you activate it, and maybe just now you can be a little more conscious of the choice you make to create it some more in your lives. Anyway, have a great week, and we'll see you again next week. We have, by the way, a lunar eclipse December 10th, which will be before I chat with you again. So be aware of that. We're between two eclipses now, the one November 24th and the one December 10th. So it is a time to create. So why not create a little joy in your life? Take care. We'll see you again next week.